You're not going to believe this, we have another update for Taika Waititi's movie. I was originally not going to cover this, I scrolled past it on Star Wars Reddit, I saw it again on Twitter, and until I really listened to it till the end, it was just the usual same sort of comments from him. But it's exactly what he mentions as the clip fades out that is of note. So he went on the Kelly Clarkson show, and speaking quite frankly, he reveals the logistics of his Star Wars movie are still falling into place. There's still so much unknown. But the reason he's so eager to take his time with it is because he wants to get it right. Comments we've heard from him time and time again. But then he says his aim is to capture the essence of The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. For him, the original trilogy is the most magical era of Star Wars. It is no surprise there is almost a unanimous concordant voice in the fandom saying the original trilogy is the best Star Wars has ever been, and even as a self-professed prequels fan, I still find myself putting Episode 5, a non-prequel of course, right at the top of my movie list. And Empire is still the most revered movie in the franchise, so I do see what Taika Waititi is saying. He has hinted in the past he wasn't as keen on the prequel trilogy, so if he's trying to capture the essence of the OT, what does this mean in terms of tone? Well, for one thing, what's really surprising is it may not be full of jokes. Fans assume it's going to be full of comedy, that he's going to inject the film with his humorous side, but actually, when you listen to what he's saying, it's going to take him a long time to write because he's got to take it more seriously than anything else he's done. He tells Kelly Clarkson, "This is not like any other project he's working on. This is the first time I've seen him consciously acknowledge this isn't about him. There is a larger franchise he needs to consider that millions love, that he needs to show regard for and submit to in terms of the established world."
I want to capture that joy and the entertainment of those early ones that, like Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi and all those ones.
It made me do a double take because based on what he said last week, I was oscillating between indifference, lack of enthusiasm, and almost a passive disdain for his words. I think the key word in what Taika is saying is the joy that he wants to capture, more than literally making a film that looks and feels like Empire or Jedi. The other day on Twitter I stated that A New Hope for me is like my biggest comfort movie of all time, because what was so beautiful about George Lucas's original trilogy is that it takes you away from the real world. They're fantastic for escapism. Sir Alec Guinness, in an interview in the late 70s, even said that while he thought, Star Wars has a lot of problems in terms of the script, the pacing, the dialogue, he was so captivated by the story George was telling that he kept having to turn the page, and that for him as an actor was key. He detected the magical and golden quality in Star Wars amongst an otherwise imperfect story, at least at the time. I'm not saying Taika's gonna do it, but if he can capture even a glimpse of that, we're in luck. And just him acknowledging it feels good. And that is what he should have said last week, when he was making jokes, and when he said he wants to piss off fans, and for all of the whimsical, jocular, public-facing persona he has, he still is a very talented guy, and that is what we forget. The episode of Mando he directed in Season 1, Redemption, was splendiferous. Yes, he inserted some of that comedy, but it's proof he is capable. The optimist in me believes that he is acknowledging Star Wars does best when it sticks to its guns. I do believe if he wants to pull this off, he will. He's just got to put his head and heart into it. The reason so many fans don't seem to care about what he wants to do with Star Wars is because he's not given us a reason to take him seriously. But this final bit of the clip going around with Kelly Clarkson indicates maybe there is hope for him yet. As I said the other day though, don't expect this for another 5, 6 or even 7 years. His movie might be the one in 2030. And I've always been a fan of writers and directors who are a bit more daring, who aren't afraid to put their own spin on things, their own twist, so to speak, their essence, whether it's their personality, their character, into their work, so I don't mind a bit of Taika in Star Wars. But my primary quibble is that based on previous comments, he's not been earnest nor thoughtful with the way he puts out publicly his approach to the film, in full knowledge of how seriously Star Wars fans take the franchise. Finally, an interview with Taika where there's no alarm bells. Come on man, give us something good. Alright, so moving on to our next subject. A preview for Empire Magazine's January 2024 issue has been released. And we have some awesome news. For fans who are wondering, when are we going to get our next Star Wars trailer? There's supposedly all of these projects coming in 2024. When are we going to get a glimpse? Whether it's Bad Batch, whether it's the Acolyte, Skeleton Crew, well, they might be sooner than you think. This is a fantastic piece because it confirms to us Andor Season 2, which didn't finish filming, but now the strikes are over, it's going to resume, is still coming in 2024. I speculated maybe it's going to be pushed back to 25, but this confirms we've got the Acolyte, Skeleton Crew, and Andor Season 2 as the live-action shows of the upcoming year. So here's what they say. It is a period of civil war. Well, not quite, but it's been an unpredictable time for Star Wars on the small screen, with some shows thrilling us, some sporadically hitting high points, and others, well, losing their shine. And of course this is just an opinion piece, but they go on to say, 2024 though gives us a new hope. And I agree, the slate of 24 looks amazing. The second season of Andor promises political complications as the rebellion grows, while the Amblin-ish Skeleton Crew stars a Jedi Jude Law and a bunch of kids on some post-Return of the Jedi adventures. Freshest of the lot though may well be The Acolyte. Kill Bill meets Frozen is how showrunner Leslie Headland describes the show and pitched it to Kathleen Kennedy in the first place. And then here we have a new description for The Acolyte, set in the ostensibly peaceful High Republic era, 100 years before the Phantom Menace, with gold and white-clothed Jedi in rude health and the Sith hiding in the shadows. It stars Amanda Stenberg and Lee Jung-jae as a couple of Jedi investigating criminal activity, Daphne Keane as a horned, mulleted alien Jedi, and Yuna Suotomo as a big furry Wookiee Jedi. Basically, a whole lot of Jedi, and this one put a huge smile on my face. Are you ready for this? Kick-ass, samurai-inspired lightsaber fights. Let the battles commence. This is a really great way to hype up the upcoming shows, because while 2023 was a great year for Star Wars, it was one where it felt very conclusive. We had the long-awaited Mando Season 3, Ahsoka's first season, so naturally there are many Star Wars fans with befuddled faces, thinking, well, if there's no Mando in 2024 and no Ahsoka, then what can we look forward to? Well, this answers it. So when can we expect trailers? I would say maybe as early as January of 2024, in a couple of months' time, and as we know, Disney Plus puts out promos with snippets of upcoming series to market and promote what's going to be on the streaming platform in the upcoming year. Just like we did in 2023, we might see a little bit of Skeleton Crew before the Skeleton Crew trailer. So next year we have that show, The Acolyte, Andor Season 2, Bad Batch 3. One project with a question mark that looms large over it is Tales of the Jedi Season 2. Back at Celebration they said sometime in 2024, but until we hear something else, I would be very cautious to say for certain that it is coming next year. But the Bad Batch Season 3 is going to be the major Star Wars animated project of the year, and we're all dying to know what is next for Crosshair, Omega, is Tech really dead, and how is the show going to come to an end? Some very real questions. I think it's quite an exciting time. What do you guys think? Let me know down below. Alright, so with that said, my dear friends, share your thoughts on everything we spoke about in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, you know what to do. Please be sure to give me a big fat thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next video. May the Force be with you, always.